Satz wird gestellt mit der Mund. Läuft in alle Sachen in der ganzen Welt und dazu. Arimische Leid, man kommt und zieht. Millionen Schöpfe schreien, man wird nicht mehr. Mit Jonne, Winde, Gassen und alle Fee. Jeden, hey, Mashiach, wir schreien in der Gassen.
Raise your guns to the sky. We ain't ever gonna lose, cause Hashem is always right. We are the lions of Judah, the ones from the other side. We're a light unto the nations, and no one can tell us shine. We don't talk to police. We only put our trust in Hakadosh Baruch Hu, with the Jews from the street. Trying to build a Shiach and spread the real truth. We don't tolerate evil within our midst. We don't call authorities. No, we're gonna throw some pistol. We might even choose some guns or some RPGs. Call them Uncle Ryan with the IEDs. You down with GOT? Yeah, you know me. We'll fight to the finish for the Yehudi. We don't talk to police. We only put our trust in Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We are Jews from the streets. Trying to bring the Shiach and spread the real truth. We don't talk to police. We don't put our trust in man, cause we know it's all decided by Hashem's hand. We don't deal with Palestine. We don't deal with white supreme, cause we know it's all the same. We respect the Holy Land. We don't talk to police. We only put our trust in Hakadosh Baruch Hu. We're the Jews from the street. Trying to bring the Shiach and spread the real truth. The street Jews with guns didn't have college funds. We only had the Torah and protected from above. We had the light and the love. We fought without fire.
Greetings. Shavua Tov. This is an audio edition of the Shofar live. Why is it an audio edition? Well, a couple of reasons. The first one is because I wanted people to really pay attention to what was being said. I think sometimes looking at a live podcast, you can kind of look at the person and maybe you're investigating what's behind them or the background, something like that. But I think the purpose really here, I want to have an extra focus on the fact that this is not about look at me. This is about look at the Torah and look at reality and look at what's going on in the world. So that's what we're going to talk about this evening. So if you've been paying attention, or if you haven't, I'll fill you in right now. As you know, there was a, I guess, rogue, you'd call it, group using JDL symbology that was started by a guy who was kicked out of JDL USA almost 2 years ago. It brought some attention to Jewish Defense League this week because that group had a member that was just arrested by the FBI for plotting to firebomb the home of Nardine Kiswani, the Within Our Lifetime pro-Palestine activist. I won't call her a lady, but she's a female, okay? It was obviously a bad idea. Let's start off saying that. Obviously, that's foolish, ridiculous. The most obvious issue is that there would be additional casualties and harm possibly done. Like if you wanted to fight this person, you should try and fight this person, okay? But when we're talking about firebombing a home, especially a home with a 1-year-old child in it, like she has, you're crossing a line, not just a line of my personal taste, but you're crossing a halakhic line. You're crossing a line when it comes to what's right and what's wrong. And a Jew is supposed to do what's right. A Jew is not supposed to just do crazy, immoral, off the cuff stuff. This is the entire purpose of being Jewish, of being, at least in any observant way, of being a practicing Jew, is that you're supposed to, at some point, elevate yourself above your animal instincts. And to say that, well, we're just going to create some Molotovs and throw them at a house with a baby. I can't even, as they say, I can't even truly process how stupid this was. Okay, not only is it a stupid idea to say, hey, let's firebomb some people. Okay, that's fucking ridiculous. But they did it essentially at the behest of a law enforcement officer who had been in their chat, in their video chats even, for over a month. And people actually said to me before, oh, well, I don't think you should charge for membership in JDL USA because you should accept everyone. You shouldn't have to pay to do a background check. You don't need to do background checks. What are you, the police? You know, people said things like that. Because the background check that we use is roughly, it's the same price as the background check that I did for CCL. It's a criminal and you know, social background check. We don't want crazy people who essentially are criminals joining our group. And I was called paranoid. I was called elitist. People suggested I was grifting or something, that I wanted the money for it costs $149. That's how much it costs, okay, for the background check per person. I'm not a corporation. I don't have an account where I can like pay for these in bulk all year. I have to do it each at a time when each person applies. So yeah, that's how much it costs, okay? And this type of bullshit is exactly why we do the background checks, okay? Guaranteed, if any of, first of all, this rogue group, I doubt they would have any members if they did background checks, because the only type of people that seemed to be drawn to that were somewhat disaffected types. Now, there's a couple people that were just, you know, attracted by the JDL imagery and they didn't know any better. Okay, but once you start talking to this guy that runs the group, you quickly learn better, okay? You quickly learn better. And so essentially this dude went to this woman, Nardine's house, with the law enforcement officer. They pulled up there to case out the joint. I mean, this is like a very, very bad movie. Okay. I cannot believe this level of foolishness, just pure foolishness. And as I wrote on our Substack blog, it's sort of it's bittersweet. It's truly bittersweet vindication rather. I do feel vindicated, and I do feel like, okay, I was right about this group, okay? But then I also feel bad because there were people who didn't believe me, essentially. They didn't believe what I was saying, what was a good idea, what was a bad idea. And I feel bad for the people who are now essentially wrapped up in a federal case because they didn't listen to me. It's just, it's sad because people are dealing with something real right now. Okay, they're dealing with real hatred. They're dealing with real discrimination. They're dealing with real legal threats, policy threats, and this type of shit does not help. It does not help. Okay, let me show you something of an interaction. Let's see if I can find this here. One moment. Okay, yeah, here we go. This is probably a year ago or more on the Instagram when we were still using Instagram. And what does that say? I essentially had wrote to this profile and asked them to clarify on their page that they were part of the 613 Brotherhood and not affiliated with JDL USA, because their page just said, whoa, it said Jewish Defense League and then like their town or whatever. So to avoid confusion, I asked them, could you specify? And of course, the person, this may have been the leader who used to be in our group, or maybe it was somebody else. And then I said, alternately, you could apply to join JDL USA if you get approved to run a local chapter. But we just wanted to avoid confusion. They were kicked out because you shouldn't have to pay, and they actually do stuff. What's that mean? Is this what they do? The stuff they do? Threatening to firebomb? Or rather planning, not even just threatening, building actual Molotov cocktails in order to firebomb a house with children? That's the stuff they do that you shouldn't have to pay. Of course, I responded, completely false. Background checks cost money. We do not even charge the full cost of the check. Right, it's $150. I charge $149. We refuse to run an operation infiltrated by federal agents and criminals. Wow, did this come back to ring true or what? Furthermore, the claim makes no sense, because if you shouldn't have to pay, then was the reason that he was no longer a member. Why did he pay to become the member? He was removed because he never accomplished one single goal that was assigned him, and furthermore, constantly brought our organization into conflict with other Jewish groups, etc., etc. We're not going to spend too much time on that, okay? But the point is, it's been a long time that I've been talking about this vetting thing. I talked about it with the Dead Rabbits, the BETAR group, who are now in legal trouble in New York City as well. And I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so, and it wasn't really that difficult to just implement some basic security measures. Really, it's not that hard. I feel like people were going anti-secure almost just to spite me. Like, oh, well, that woman said, that you shouldn't just let anybody in, so we're going to let anybody in. And it's like, well, okay. How'd that work out for you guys? Deeper than just ripping on how stupid that was to be convinced by a law enforcement officer to Molotov somebody. Who even knows if the guy in the group was even actually Jewish? I mean, the guy did zero vetting. It could have been a setup from the get-go. He could have had somebody from the Palestine side infiltrate his group and then purposely attract cops to try and get them in trouble. I mean, jihadists will literally do a suicide bomb. They'll blow themselves up for their cause. Where you think they won't take a legal fall to make the Jews look terrible? I think they would. So this guy may or may not be Jewish. Did this in the name of the JDL 613 Brotherhood. So people have been, of course, doing an outpouring saying, oh, the JDL is the worst terrible thing. First of all, these guys are not JDL. They couldn't be JDL. Okay. They couldn't cut the mustard. They're obviously morons. Okay. But besides for that, the other thing is everything that the people are saying about JDL is false. It's not a terrorist group. It's not a racist group. It's never been designated as an FTO, mainly because we have freedom of speech in the United States. I know some people get confused about that. But even though we say a lot of mean things, I guess, that doesn't make you a hate group or a terrorist group. Okay, it makes you opinionated. It makes you bold and ready to say things that offend people, but it doesn't make you a hate group, because a hate group really has no legal definition. Okay, so people are on the internet calling us a hate group, which is a meaningless word. Okay, organizations like ADL, SPLC, other groups like that, they call things hate groups because guess what? Their funding relies on fighting hate groups. If there's no hate groups, there's no money for them. Okay, so when they say that the JDL is a hate group, that's just another dollar in their stack. They don't care that they're not telling the truth, and they will defend it by saying, by their criteria, we are a hate group. Somebody told me I should sue the ADL for the listing on the website calling JDL a hate group. Well, by their bizarre liberal definition, we are a hate group. They consider anyone who maligns an entire group to be a hate group. You needn't have done a hate crime or any type of crime. Basically, ADL will consider you a hate group if you, for example, talk against terrorists. If you say the Palestine movement is full of terrorists, blah blah blah, that's a hate group. You just made yourself a hate group to the ADL because you maligned an entire group. I also malign the entire group of pedophiles. I malign the entire group of woman beaters. There's a lot of entire groups that I malign. It's because they're doing bad stuff, not because of their racial, ethnic, or religious background, though. Okay, and that's, I think, an important distinction, at least by my criteria. Let's not, forget also that, a group like SPLC was sued for racially abusing Black employees, but they call us a hate group. Okay. And they're going to use these bozos from New Jersey as an excuse to try and continue to malign the Jewish Defense League and Rabbi Kahana's legacy, which is truly offensive because his idea, the Jewish idea, is based in the Torah. It's not nonsense that he just came up with, okay? Rabbi Kahana was not a terrorist. He was not a racist. He was the founder of the Committee Against Racism and Discrimination. All right. And some people will say, well, he was actually racist and that didn't count being in that group because he was just saying that he was against racism. Well, okay. Then I'll say the same thing about Antifa. And you'll say that, no, but they're called anti-fascists. It says right in the name. Well, that was called the Committee Against Racism and Discrimination. Said it right in the name. So let's get back to JDL. Now, when we're talking about the history of our organization, we're talking about, yes, a rich history that has oftentimes had splinters and fractions, factions and fractured things have happened. After Rabbi Kahana's death, of course, chaos ensued. Different groups wanted to say they were this, they were that. We're the true legacy, we're the this guy. Okay, yeah, whatever. All right. But all of that is past. And today, 2026, the only group which has any connection to Rabbi Kahana's original circle is this group. Does that inherently make the group superior? No. However, it does lend a bit of credibility to the idea that somebody that knew Rabbi Kahana doesn't think that I'm completely crazy or that I'm doing the wrong things here, okay? And not just one person, many, many people. If you watch the show regularly, you have seen people on this podcast who worked directly and were good friends with Rabbi Kahana. First one off the top of my head is Avigdor Eskin, for example, who was on the show twice. Rabbi Schifrin, we see him almost every week. So to us, JDL USA, this is personal. This is not something we just got into. It's not an affinity group, okay? We're not just fans of this. This is like family to us, okay? And what do you do about your family? You care about them, okay? And that's why often I don't put a lot of our JDL USA people out on the front lines, the ones who, we have research people and then we have street people, right? And our research people, who provide intel and things like that, you're not always going to see them, but it would be a lot less active and a lot less activities if they weren't, sending me intel and sending me information and things like that, okay? But those people, none of them are crazy. And I still vet people even that are not going to be going out on the street. Because why? Vetting is important. It really is truly important, okay? You can't just do whatever. You can't just have whoever show up when you're talking about, number one, representing the Jewish people and Jewish defense, but number two, when you're talking about basic safety for your group and your people. How are you part of the Jewish Defense League if you couldn't even defend your group chat from being infiltrated? It's foolish. It's foolish. All right. And there's something deeper, though, that I wanted to talk about. And I think a lot of people are overlooking. Okay. Now, I already posted the blog response to the, the liberals who took all of, I log in after Shabbat, and the whole social media feed is full of liberals who have been posting throughout Shabbat. Okay. They've been posting throughout Shabbat about how Jews are against violence and Jewish values are this and that, and peaceful shalom and all this shit. First of all, Jewish values should, if you're going to represent for that, don't be posting this bullshit on Shabbat. Okay? But I digress. I digress. We got some activity in the chat here. Has JDL USA ever done anything? Yes, we do plenty. We have stopped legislation multiple times. We feed hungry Jews with Mayot Chetim, and we also do local Shlach Manot. If you can go to our website and learn about our CCL training, I feel like somebody asking if we've done anything is probably new to our group. And if you're not familiar with our group, you can go to the website. That website would show you some things that we do. I tell you what we don't do is firebomb houses with children in them. Okay. Look at this. This is a choice comment. This is hilarious comment. Chaim Ben Pesach says JDL 613 is the real JDL. Okay, you mean the guy from the JTF who abandoned the JDL name because he had to go to prison for being a terrorist bomber? I wonder who got these guys the attention of the fucking authorities. Could it have been consorting with Chaim Ben Pesach? Perhaps? A convicted fucking bomber? Get out of here. You're an actual retard. I'm sorry. You're an actual retard. Chaim Ben Pesach says, where's he saying this from? From his informant phone or his regular phone? Get the fuck out of here. Yes, how would you even know this guy? You would have to seek him out. You would have to seek him out because Chaim Ben Pesach, if you don't know who he is, he was a guy who was affiliated with, these are all ex-JDL people, apparently, dropping out of or being kicked out of the JDL makes you the real JDL in your eyes. But Chaim Ben Pesach is a guy who was previously affiliated with JDL, and he did a lot of work with JDL. But he went over the line, did some bombs, and somehow got out of jail. So how are you out of jail after doing bombings? Oh, yeah, there's a way to do that. It's usually called being an informant. Okay? And if the 613 guys are watching this and they're not putting together that they were associating with a guy who was previously in prison and then they got caught by the feds, they might have brain injuries. They might have actual brain injuries. Bombing our enemies is bad. Okay, you know what? For the IDF, bombing our enemies is great because it's called a war. Bombing your personal enemies in America does nothing for the Jewish people but embarrass us. And somebody saying that, you're crazy. You're crazy. You're going to call me a capo when you want the Jews in the jail, in the prison? You're a psychopath. Somebody should check your hard drive. Generally speaking, people who are comfortable with promoting murder in public usually have some questionable sexual content on their hard drives as well. I'm just saying it's a pattern, and I recognize it. Furthermore, the JDL 613 having a youth group that was recruiting children as young as 11, and then you have this guy in here saying the Chaim ben Pesach is a cool guy. This should show you why we want nothing to do with these psychopaths. To call somebody a capo for saying, hey, don't be an idiot, don't embarrass the Jews, don't break Jewish law, don't desecrate the Torah, that's a capo? No, you're a capo. You're a libtard, you're an idiot, you're a left-winger, and you can go and join Antifa if you want to act like them. You can join Antifa. Because we are proud Zionist Jews who will fight, who do fight, who have fought against the enemies of the Jewish people. I have several chipped teeth from physically fighting neo-Nazis. Does anybody in the 613 group have that? No, because they just started after October 7th giving a damn about Judaism. They just started giving a damn about Nazis and anti-Semitism after October 7th, okay? And for someone who is an adult, the guy who started that group, to try and influence younger people to do things that's going to just send them to jail, he is trash, okay? He just converted right around October 7th. Who knows if he converted for the right reasons, because all he does is this type of stuff. Promote terrible behavior that makes the Jews look terrible. I'm not saying I want to look cool to the left wing or to the people who don't like the Jews. You know who I want to look cool to, bro? You know, hey, guy in the chat, you know who I want to look good to? I'm not trying to impress other people. I'm trying to impress the man upstairs. I'm trying to impress Hashem, okay? I'm trying to do this right. You don't just throw the Torah out the window because you have feelings, okay? That's emotional homosexual behavior. You are essentially a homosexual. So don't come in here and call me a capo when you are promoting desecrating the Torah by unnecessary killing, okay? And furthermore, you're talking about killing a child is okay? So why don't you support abortion? No, you're a liberal and you're acting like a homosexual abortionist by supporting people who would kill a child. There's no two ways around that. You're not going to be like, oh, well, you know, yeah, you got me. I'm going to say, yeah, you're right. I guess I am a capo for not wanting to bomb little baby in the house. You're a piece of shit. And whoever agrees with you is a piece of shit too, bro. You need to get right with God. Think about this shit on Yom Kippur. Think about a 1-year-old child and if that was okay to bomb somebody's house, okay? The other thing about bombing is it's done by pussies. A real motherfucker, a strong Jew, can fight with his hands, with a knife, okay? A real strong Jew can fight. Bombing is the pussiest way to do anything. What the fuck did you show by throwing a Molotov at somebody's house? You show that you can't fight them, you show that you can't debate them, and you show that you're fucking crazy. You show that you're insane, okay? Rabbi Chana talked about the strength and sanity as of 1984. Okay, maybe you guys are not super familiar with Rabbi Chana because you only pay attention to the bad press and you get interested and clickbaited in because you're attracted to negative stuff. and you only went with the stuff calling him racist, and you said, well, I'm racist. Yeah, he's racist. I support him. Well, let me tell you, they were fucking lying about him. He's not racist. He's not a terrorist. And anybody who says he is anti-Jewish, okay? So stop being liberal. Stop being anti-Jewish. Stop promoting bombing places, especially ones with little fucking babies living in them. And say your prayers. Because you're in a dark space. You're in a dark space. Okay? We don't fucking promote darkness in Judaism. We're not satanic. We don't promote killing and death and shit, okay? We promote self-defense. If someone comes to kill you, arise and kill them first. A baby wasn't coming to kill anybody, buddies, okay? A baby wasn't coming to kill anybody. A baby living in America, okay? We're not even talking about a war zone in Gaza, normal shit where there would be expected casualties and they warned you, hey, there's a war, get the fuck out of here, all right? It's understandable why children die in Gaza. It's not understandable why a child would die in New York, okay? It's just not understandable. And, you know, this guy's in here spamming the chat, trying to promote evil. And this is what happens when a demon is on you, man. Look at this motherfucker. He says, capital. That's what he says. This is what the guy says when I'm telling you not to kill children. You see what kind of fucked up people this thing attracted? I hate to have to talk bad about another Jew. But when you go so far beyond the pale into the realm of darkness where you want to murder a fucking baby, you're no longer a Jew to me. You have gone into the realm of apostate. You're an apikoros, okay? You're now some kind of Satanist or some other pagan shit, but you're not a Jew anymore, not to me. You want to kill an innocent child in America. Remember that guy? He was the landlord. He was here in Chicago. Well, he was in the suburbs, but whatever. Guy in Chicago. He was, I think he was Polish or something. He had Arab, so-called Palestinian, self-identified, of course, because there's no such thing as a Palestinian, but a self-identified Palestinian family living there. And he had some dispute with the woman. And what ended up happening, they got into a conflict, yelling or whatever, and he killed the 6-year-old boy. Do you know how difficult it was for the Jews right after that happened? Even people that were not Jews had to deal with the fallout from that if they had something that looks Jewish, okay? Because then no longer were you arguing about a conflict over there. Now you're talking about real violence on the streets over here. Don't play games with me. Don't play games with the Jewish lives that are at stake here, okay? If you think that you want to fucking go kill somebody, try yourself. Because that's what you're worth. That's what you're worth. And thanks for all the activity, dumbass. You're pushing us up in the algorithm with all your comments. Anyway, bombing is a way of pussies, okay? If you're in the military, we understand. You have to destroy a whole city. Bombs are the way to do it, okay? You're targeting an individual person and you choose a bomb, you're a piece of shit, all right? No two ways about it. If you're targeting a whole government and you had to blow up something, and there was a war. Okay, but maybe that was bombs was the thing. Okay, don't bomb people's houses. There's absolutely no call for that level of escalation in the United States. You think that they're not going to use that type of shit as an excuse to globalize the intifada? They're going to get people who had no fucking opinion about this previously now to go, oh, wait, now they're fucking killing American citizens? This is a problem now. Now the Jews are becoming a problem. And it's not the Jews, it's just this one dumbass who's supposedly Jewish, that we don't even know if he's Jewish or not, that's a part of a group that was started by a guy who was kicked out of another group that he claims to admire. What's wrong with these people? What kind of mental insanity is this? I mean, I'm just looking through the guy's comments here, the live chat, and he's obviously a mental case. Obviously mental. Go back to pushing paper. When did I push paper? Did I work at a paper job or something? Oh, well, about 15 years ago, I worked at a print shop. Is that what you mean? Pushing paper? I don't know what you're talking about, but when I go out and confront the enemies, I normally will try to drown out their messaging by either letting everyone know that what they're saying is lies, or I'll use like a loud siren or music or something like that. From only thing I ever heard from the JDL 613 group going out, which was like a couple state, a couple here and there, was him calling somebody Arab trash. Well, that looked good for our side. Oh, hello.
Hello, Nama.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so we're talking about, ridiculously enough, why you shouldn't bomb houses with children in the United States.
It's actually crazy that we have to state obvious facts in 2026, but that's where we're at now in society.
I'm not sure what the guy meant by pushing paper.
What paperwork? I just want to know when we became a government bureaucratic office.
We're not even tax exempt. What is he talking about?
No idea. Never filled out any paperwork related to Jewish activism in all of these years. Never put paper.
Neither have I. I don't know. I mean, I've yelled in people's faces. I've ripped up papers.
Yeah, you did recently. There's a great video of you ripping up a paper.
Yeah, I don't know, pushing papers. What, like newspapers? Like trying to sell? Maybe he means selling newspapers. And it says, oh, hold on. That's all you do. And then it says legislation.
I personally have never been involved with legislation, but just throw out any kind of accusations that you want.
I stopped some legislation from happening, but I don't write legislation. How do we stop legislation from happening? We organize people and we get them all to physically come out somewhere. That's how we stop legislation. No, this guy goes, oh, so she lied. No, you are just deaf or else illiterate, and you don't understand what words mean. I said I stopped legislation, not write legislation. Do you know this difference between stopping? This guy's not very bright.
No, or he doesn't realize that there's two people now speaking.
Oh, okay. Well, let me explain it. On several occasions, I organized people to go to City Hall to vote against anti-Jewish and anti-Israel ballots. I did not compose any ballots or any legislation to be instituted ever, because I don't do that. Okay?
I guess then when I was helping to try to get a Jewish man elected to office in New York City, I mean, technically that's also trying to work in legislation. And yet this guy seems to think
By
that
writing shit.
nothing has been done. I mean, I never wrote anything when I did that stuff. I actually met with people and got signatures and
You
hung
know,
up
I don't want
flyers
to
and
turn it.
promoted this candidate. So I don't know what Benny seems to think he knows. It's not a
Okay,
lot.
look, obviously this guy is friends of the 613 bros,
Obviously.
and he wants to get in trouble with the feds because I'm not sure if he's paying attention, but I just put out a blog post, which I also tweeted, talking about this. So there's going to be a bunch of people who are looking into that case, coming to look at this live stream. So they're going to be looking at the chat, in which there's only one person supporting the 613 Brotherhood, and he seems crazy. So they're going to find who Benny is, and he's probably going to hear from law enforcement because he decided to go full retard in our chat.
Good job, Benny.
Good job, Benny.
Always a good idea to, say you support bombing children.
Yeah.
Good job.
There's probably law enforcement watching this. I mean, I know it's like, the mainstream, everybody's not watching it, but the feds, trust me, they're looking at everything JDL this weekend, and this guy's going around, Pre-Pesach says, oh, okay. I sure hope you're not in the United States, bro. But, they do extradite from Israel if you're over there, so you're not very bright. Here's the thing. First of all, silence is golden. If you're thinking of doing something crazy, number one, don't. But number two, why would you talk about it online? What the fuck? Why would you go in a public live stream chat and be like, yeah, that guy that bombs people, he says that the guy that you're saying is bad for wanting to bomb children is good. Why would you do that to yourself unless you yourself are a fed looking for other people to bite on that, or else you just completely have no self-awareness?
I mean, what other loser criminals can we line up to say 613 Brotherhood's the real deal?
But I just, I don't even want to keep, at this point, they're dead rabbits. That organization is clearly over. Once you did that and the feds are all in your chat, I mean, there's no group. Anybody who stays in that group, they're probably going to want to change the name of it. Whatever that is over. Okay. It's dead in the water, kaput. It's nothing. It's a fart in the wind. Okay. So let's not even talk about them anymore. Let's move forward because this guy is trying to, get more focus on him and his crazy feelings than the reality, which is what I started off the show saying, that we should stop focusing on feelings and focus on reality and what the Torah says. Okay, the Torah. I mean, nowhere in it are you told to, number one, break the law of the land that you're in, but especially not for the purpose of breaking Torah law on top of that. If you have to break the law for the law you're in, it should be for the purpose of following Torah, meaning, okay, they made Jewish practice or circumcision illegal because they became Nazis. Well, we still do it in secret, okay? You're not supposed to break the law in order to kill somebody and do fucking against Torah. You're not. I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know who thinks that the Torah tells you to go kill innocent babies when you've not been commanded and there's no war. I mean, does this guy think that New York City is supposed to be Shechem in the Bible? Is it supposed to be Jericho, where we're supposed to are we supposed to go in and kill every single person in this particular woman's house? Is her house in the Bible? Because there are specific areas in the Torah where we're told to kill everyone, children included, for a specific reason, basically a quote unquote genocide. But generally, unless you're commanded to do that in the case of the war, not allowed. Not
What kind of
allowed.
activism is that anyway?
Okay,
I mean,
look.
ultimately, what is that gonna
Look at
bring
this.
to the cause?
Look at this. Terrorists, you guys have been exposed. No, the JDL 613 Brotherhood has been exposed, and we have just spent the last however many, almost an hour, basically making fun of this guy in the chat for supporting them. Thanks for joining late, dumbass,
Yeah.
Bella Chow. No, we
Bella.
don't support the 613 Brotherhood. They have nothing to do with us. I am not now, nor have I ever been a fascist. I'm actually more libertarian leaning. And Chana was a rabbi, not a loser. So I've answered all your stupid questions there. Okay.
Calling a granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor as a fascist is a real low. I mean, that people can just do this like with a straight face is just.
I guarantee you that was a white person too.
Guaranteed. Bella, no, no one but white people.
Didn't even mention this group, Guilty Conscious. No, that's the topic of the weekend, dumbass. Everybody knows the headlines right now. The 613 Brotherhood did a terrorist attack, or planned a terrorist attack and got thwarted, thankfully. I didn't mention that group, Guilty. First of all, I think the word you're looking for is conscience, which is different than conscious. Conscious means to be awake.
She's barely conscious.
Conscience is your moral center. So maybe you should work on vocabulary there. But yeah, so as I was telling Benny, there's going to be people looking at this chat who hate the JDL and want to make it look like, yeah, so like somebody like Benny is in the chat looking like an asshole. And somebody like Chana and myself are on here essentially explaining why those people are idiots. Try telling Zev Jabotinsky that you guys aren't fascists. Zev Jabotinsky was a secular Zionist, okay? We are not based on Jabotinsky. This is not Beitar. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but we do not follow Zev Jabotinsky. Okay? He was not religious. We are religious Zionists, okay? We follow the Jewish idea with Rabbi Kahana, not Zev Jabotinsky. Jabotinsky was a fucking apostate, okay? While he did some nice things here and there, I would not be looking to him for anything regards to ideology. Maybe military planning. I would definitely look at him for, organizational things perhaps. But we do not base our ideology on Jabotinsky at all. Okay, this is the JDL. All right, we base our ideas on the Jewish idea of the Torah. We are religious Zionists. Okay, we are not doing this for a political thing, and we didn't consider that maybe the Jewish homeland could have been in South America instead or something like that. We have nothing to do with that ideology. Okay, that's secular Zionism. You follow Kahanism. Okay, there's no such thing as actually Kahanism. That's a fake word created by fake assholes to denigrate the rabbi. Okay, it's called Judaism. That's what we follow. You and Beitar are both irrelevant losers who act or do extremist activity for attention. I haven't done any extremist activity for attention. The other guy in the chat is telling me I'm not extremist enough. So this is kind of funny because you have two morons.
Tale of two dopes.
Tale of two retards. No, but I mean, really, come on. You and
The
Batar are
retardation has escalated.
we're both irrelevant
Wait.
losers. Then why are you here in my chat? If we're irrelevant, obviously we were relevant enough to you to search out the Jewish Defense League this weekend because you saw a headline about some 613 Brotherhood group. But since you want to be offended, here, let me play something to just offend this bitch. Hold on. Yeah, baby. That's what we talking about.
חייתי רוצה להיות בדרום, על אש משווה טבק מתוק בדרום, בדרום,
בדקסילן.
בדקסילן שם נולדתי באיזה חורף קר וצ'וק בדרום,
Nama, you have the wildest stuff.
חייתי רוצה להיות בדרום, בדקסילן, בדרום אשר לחיות ולמות בדקסי רחוק, רחוק, רחוק בדרום בדקסי, רחוק, רחוק, רחוק בדרום בדקסי.
All right. She doesn't find it offensive, so we might as well take it off. I don't find it particularly offensive, but I don't know. You'll probably find it offensive that Israel is going to lose this war. Which war is this? Which war is this? Because, you know what, Israel has been at war since it's existed, and I count still existing as winning all of that.
Why would we find that offensive? Like, even the way that's phrased is just so retarded.
These people are like fucking 15 years old, man. She probably plays like fucking Roblox and, you know, decided
we're not liberals. People's opinions don't offend us. That's you, baby.
Yeah, I'm not having any feels about that. I just thought it was funny, though, that she was in here saying that we're extremists when the other guy's like, you're a capo and you should be bombing people.
You're not the real JDL because you don't want to bomb 1-year-old babies.
Only people who have left or been kicked out of JDL are the real JDL. Didn't you know this? Only if you abandon the name or you get kicked out, that's how you become the real JDL.
You also have to be an ex-drug addict, convert with missing teeth who likes to listen
What
to...
is this? Oh, look at this shit. Liberals love you guys. I've never met a liberal that loves me. They all hate me. Biden is one that took Chana's groups off the terror list. First of all, we were never on the terror list. There's no such thing as a terror list. You're a fucking idiot. If there was a terror list, all the terrorists would just look at it and say, oh, there are no activities. Let's change that. Come on. There is no, you know what? I swore I played the video that explained this. Maybe this bitch missed it. Hold on. Let's see here. Let me get this other video. I have another video that clearly explains it. I thought, you know, she came a little late, so I think that's her, you know, problem. But here it is, right here. You see this? It looks lovely, doesn't it? We're going to take her little bullshit off the screen. But there is a slide in this, in this part. That one right there is very, very true. None of those 5 things said bombing, by the way. But there is there's a frame in here that I'll pause it on if I can. So Bella and other confused children don't misunderstand and think that there's such a thing as a terror watch list of American citizens that are doing bad things, because that's actually not a thing. And I'm amazed at how many people actually believe that that's a thing. Now, there's foreign terrorist organizations, but we're not foreign. We're American. We have a fucking First Amendment, and I love that shit. I love it because we can say what we want, And as long as we don't go full retard like the 613 bros, they can't do anything about us saying things that hurt your fucking feelings. Okay? This is not England. I'm not going to jail for a meme. Although I did have the feds come to my house over a meme which they thought was threatening, but it turned out I didn't send it anyway. But which is bad enough. But we still have some semblance of freedom of speech in this country.
We're not quite at the UK level.
Right, we're not to that level yet. But there's literally no such thing as a terrorist watch list in America. That is a fantasy. I don't know who created that thought in people's minds, but it blows my mind every time that they think that there would be some sort of publicly accessible or even internal document, because that could be breached as well, a list, a terrorist watch list. Here's a list of everybody who the government is watching. Why would the government do that? Why on earth would you publicize a list of everyone you're watching?
Sounds like the opposite of like a sting or an undercover.
The ultimate failure of the JDL that it alienates your own diaspora because your tactics and rhetoric are too eerily familiar to certain far-right ideology from World War II. So I don't remember any far-right ideologies being involved in World War II. I do remember the authoritarian center-right, known as National Socialism, having a big deal going on there, and also the authoritarian center-left, known as Mussolini-style fascism. But none of those are far-right, so...
Why did that whole comment seem AI-generated?
They went to AI, they're like, give me something good to say to the JDL. They're on their live stream chat. And it didn't work out. That's what they said, and it was nonsense, because they don't know left from right. This is what we're dealing with. We deal with people who don't know their left from right. Earlier, she called me a fascist, and I said, I'm actually more libertarian. Now, libertarian is right. And the further libertarian and less government you go, that's the further right. But this person doesn't understand that, and they think far right is not anarchist, which it would be. They think far right is Nazi, which is actually the authoritarian center. So they're just confused. Oh, see, here we go. We'll pause this right here. You see, we're talking about where the JDL works, right? And then we go up a little bit. And, there's something we're doing, CCL classes. Oh, damn. Well, I lost the frame. But anyway, it'll pop up again. But it's basically explaining that as an American group with freedom of speech, we're not eligible to be on a foreign terrorist organization list, which is the only terrorist list that there is. We're illiterate morons. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm actually literate in multiple languages.
I'm the first person with a master's degree who's illiterate.
We don't know fifth grade history lessons.
Records.
Apparently, in their history lessons, they told them that the Nazis were far right, which I'm pretty sure they didn't actually teach them in their history lesson. I guarantee you it didn't say that in your book. BTW, your co-host is probably a Fed.
Well, if that's true, I already visited Bella multiple times. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey, does this cat know you're a Fed? Because she was sleeping really close to you.
Yeah, if that's true, you gotta do something with the dog also, because what kind of protection was that? There was some snuggling with this Fed over here.
I'm gonna have to talk to the cat about implementing some security measures.
Yeah, we're gonna have to tighten those up.
Oh, ridiculous! Really fucking ridiculous.
It's interesting though, because it's the other group that the Fed and has all of the problems.
Yeah, that has the Fed issues, you know. We're the one that does the vetting, that we don't let Feds in our chats for, you know, for however long or whatever. You know. Oh, wait, this person doesn't like Rabbi Chana, so let's put this on. Hold on. Let's see if this will. Oh, let the song play. Hold on. Here's a musical interlude. Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose that it's fair for this person to have some amount of paranoia because there's so many Feds running around. But no, we're not Feds. We're not. This should be made clear by the fact that we're not telling you to fucking adopt children. God damn. You know, like, come on, people. What are y'all really thinking out there? You know,
All these other retarded groups with their unintelligent plans that are in really no way following Torah. Oh, we
this
got
person
a
feels
comment.
like, you haven't seen any of my memes. What are you talking about? You thought this little video clip was a meme? Want to be groypers? No. Groypers are like 12 years old. I'm a fucking adult. What are you talking about?
You know, Bella's
They want to be. They want to be us. They want to be us. If anything, they wish that they could be like the Jews. They were there crying to some fucking priest, you know, and wishing that they could connect with God for real, and they're over there going against their own church and their own church's beliefs while worshiping the Jew.
Groyper aesthetic? Isn't that like gay aesthetic? And why would anybody like try to imitate that in any way?
As far as I know, groypers are like Mexicans and Indians who like, you know, anal, right?
Yeah, that's what I've heard, and they don't need women.
Right.
I don't know. That's
So how would
I'm looking at
how would an organization run by women be interested in being like groypers? That's the real kicker of it, because it's groypers are literally, there's no such thing as like girls among them. So
I don't know. Bella's just grasping at straws. It feels like she's just like reaching for anything and everything. Like, let's just throw all these accusations at the wall, see what sticks. It's a lot of projection.
Yeah, it's a lot of projection. I like how you're not complaining about me. Well, I don't complain. I'm not a complainer. All right. I'm actually not complaining about the JDL fanboys either. What I'm trying to do is educate people so that they know what is a good and a bad choice moving forward, so that they understand why that was wrong. There's nothing to complain about. What does complaining do?
They just use the term JDL fanboy, and they're going to talk about secondhand embarrassment. It's just the irony in this entire chat with this lunatic. Wild.
Yeah.
Fanboy? Oh my God.
I mean, I guess, you know, you could call him a fanboy. I don't know. I don't know anything about the guy who actually did the Molotov building. I've never met him or talked to him or anything. He's somebody who is attracted to the type of person who gets kicked out of our group. So, you know, what, you want them to be inactive and passive pawns because you're liberals?
Oh, well, now I
He's
know.
clearly a fan of your work,
Now I know that this is some troll that's absolutely connected with the
With
613
the
Brotherhood.
yeah, we're the bros, right?
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
clearly a
Because
fan of your work. Why would
types
he
of
be a fan of
Chana.
my work?
Is this Mike? Did Mike become trans and change his name to Bella?
I think it. Well, let's just presume it is. Let's just treat this
Well,
person like they're Mike, even if they're not.
the literacy is a little bit too above his level, though.
Oh, yeah, that might be true, but that doesn't even make sense because you're liberals. So if he's a fan of my work, but I'm a liberal, so how did a
Also, it's
fan of
active
my
and passive.
how did a fan of my liberal work decide to go against everything that I believe in and try to bomb people? Okay, that is literally idiotic.
Didn't Mike
Um,
also order a bunch of flags from Temu, ironically?
Ironically, yes.
You know, that
I don't know how they
613
ever turned
Brotherhood is
out.
the Temu special, guys.
I don't know how those ever turned out, but it looked like they were one-sided on the video I saw of him on No Cap on God. Um, you know, but yeah, this is actually a funny chat tonight. There's like people that they're trying to like say some kind of like I guess trying to do like a gotcha.
It's pretty
They're all like
entertaining.
they're so weak and like not funny or honestly, the Palestine people are not that good with the jokes. I used to get into it with some neo Nazis, and honestly, sometimes they would say some shit that I even had to laugh at. I was like, okay, that was good, but fuck you, you know. But like with these nowadays, like they're not even funny. They don't even have jokes. They're not familiar enough with the stereotypes to like tap into any type of like cultural shibboleth that gives it that comedic gold,
There's
They
also
just
an
don't
IQ
have.
issue.
I'm sorry, what?
There's also an IQ issue. I mean, comedy takes some kind of intelligence.
Right. That's why there's so many Jewish comedians, and there's a few Arab comedians, but generally they take shit too seriously to be comedians. I
Well,
mean,
lots of groups have outliers.
yeah, statistical outliers always exist, and that's why we're not a fucking racist retard group because hey, there might be an Arab that decides he wants to become a Jew. You know what? I know people like that in real life. I know a guy who was a so-called Palestinian, and he did not identify with what they were teaching him. They were teaching him how bad the Jews were and all this stuff. And he had to go into Israel for a medical procedure. And he was like super scared. And then after it went normal and it was fine, he was like, this is all a lot. Like if they really just wanted to kill Arabs, they had me under. They could have killed me right there, And he started researching and eventually converted to Judaism, which is great. Now, if I had just been one of those people who killed all the Arabs, that would have been one less Jew in the world. Okay? So you have to fucking be following the Torah. You don't just get to follow whatever you think and whatever you feel. You can't just be like, oh, well, these people piss me off, kill all of them. And it's like, well, what, their whole demographic or just the people who are coming to kill you? Because if there's people coming to kill you, you're supposed to kill them. If there's somebody who's not coming to kill you, you're not supposed to fucking kill them unless it's like a war. And, they will be coming to kill you at some point, So, these weird.
That's based on actions. It's not based on somebody's race.
Right, or their identity as a, religion or nationality or anything like that, Like Rabbi Chana famously said, do we think that that Jews are the best, that being a Jew is the best? Yes, but we believe that anybody could become a Jew. So that's not racism. And I remember some of the people in the circle of that 613 group, I saw them in another chat, not our chat, they wouldn't come in our chat and dare talk about this, saying, oh, what is this? You found a woke video of Kahan? Was he woke? Is he a liberal now? Same type of shit like you see from these trolls in the chat. How is that liberal to abide by the Torah? I just want to know, when we're talking about the oldest law commanded by God, saying to follow that is liberal? I've never actually been called a liberal before tonight, but
I know, it's really wild.
no, I've been called, which is funny because they started off calling me a fascist, but they got down to a liberal because maybe they thought libertarian meant liberal.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, it's so wild because you're like the least liberal person I'm friends with. It's just, I'm more liberal than you, and I don't even call myself a liberal.
Look at this idiot. I just clearly said I never met the guy. I never met the guy. He, in the news article, it says his name is Alexander Heffler, which sounds remotely like Hitler. So I think he was trolling, and I don't even think the dude is a Jew, but no, I never met the guy who was the terrorist. I met the guy who ran the chat room, which these idiots congregated in. Don't need to meet him to communicate. I never communicated with him. He's never been in a group chat. He's a member of a different group. Are you literally retarded? Group chats for communication. Our group chat is private. We do not allow non-members into our group chat.
I'm not in a group chat with those losers.
We've had a comment section. If you mean comments, are you talking about like here on YouTube or comments on Telegram or social media? Maybe one of them went in the comments and I didn't know it.
No, it's just because you said you saw a screenshot of their group chat, as if screenshots aren't passed around on the internet all the time. You can Google and find a screenshot. Does that mean I'm in communication when I Google screenshots?
I guess I'm in communication with Epstein because I was reading his files, right?
Technically, when I'm on the internet, aren't I in communication with everybody because I'm plugged into the world?
Hey, you don't even need to be on the internet. You could use your psychic powers in communicating. These people are really a trip. No, but the terrorist guy, never have communicated with him. I don't personally, off just what I read, I don't believe he's a real Jewish person. I don't. I believe he's somebody who infiltrated Mike's group in order to make something like the JDL look bad, because a group like ours, we have vetting, background checks, regular check-ins. You can't fucking slip one past us like that, okay? So he knew he couldn't, why even bother? Don't even fuck with JDL USA. Let's go over here with JDL 613, and then that's the way we can get bad press for JDL. That's what I believe happened. Now, if this dude if this dude is a real, do you think he's a real Jewish person, like the terrorist?
No.
I don't think so.
Look, I've never seen him, and I've never seen a Jew that looks like that.
The picture that's supposedly him on Twitter.
He's associated with a group that barely has Jews in it.
I know.
It's like JVP.
Might as well be. But yeah, I think the guy is not a real Jew. That is the terrorist. Now, the guy who runs their group, he underwent a valid conversion. I'm not knocking converts at all in any way. I would never do that. Just to be clear, when I'm saying these people are not real Jews, it's not because the leader converted. The reason is because they're going against Jewish values. And then this guy obviously just showed up in their group and basically brought a fan along and built Molotov cocktails. Like, I just, I knew he was going to attract crazy people, but that seems a little too crazy.
I mean,
Honestly.
if post conversion, you're still attending shows that throws blood at the audience, I don't know. I don't know about the Jewish value there.
True. I mean, like I said, if you don't respect the Torah and you're like, it's more important to you to act on your emotion and to feed your rage and to go kill somebody. That's not Judaism. Judaism involves self-control. Even if you felt that evil urge, like, I got to kill this bitch, like you had that moment of evil in you, you're supposed to use your stronger mind. You're supposed to bury that and say, that's not my real heart. That's the evil inclination. There's brachas you can say for this. And what is this person now sounding anti-Semitic? I don't know which part that I said would sound anti-Semitic.
We're anti-Semitic against ourselves? Okay. Bella's
Yes,
just trolling. At this point, really, Bella is just trolling.
I'm not suicidal, so I don't know how I'm anti-Semitic. I mean, it's like, I could see how like transgender might be considered transphobic because a lot of them commit suicide and then of course causing death of trans people. But I'm not suicidal. You're not suicidal.
Not at all. Look, from an activist.
Oh, you're denying your comrades' Judaism. First of all, we don't have comrades. We're not fucking communists.
Comrade? Who uses that term, comrade?
Fucking Reds. Fucking piece of shit communists.
Ew.
You're denying your comrades' Judaism.
Okay, comrade Bella. Yeah, exactly.
He's not my comrade.
When we said that someone wasn't following a Jewish value, that meant that. Good job, comrade Bella.
Okay. These people
struggling.
These people out here nowadays, they really are confused. They don't know about the history of the Jews. They don't even know the so you don't like labor Zionists, I guess. No. Can you answer your question? The answer is no. I don't dislike them as people. I'm sure some of them are great guys, but from a political position, no. They're socialists. Why would I support a socialist?
Ew.
Like, the fuck?
That is like such a big ick.
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe like to educate some labor Zionists if they're already in the Zionist stream. I can explain to them, hey, you're associating with some bad stuff. This system has historically gone against the Jews. But no, I don't support secular nationalism. I don't support any type of socialism, and neither does the JDL officially support either of those. Didn't you guys assassinate Rabin? No. Yitzhak Rabin was assassinated in Israel, not in the United States. And the Jewish Defense League exists in the United States. So, yeah. I know it's confusing for some of you non-Zionist people because you think that the United States is part of Israel, but it's not. This is, oh no, you just did it. No, again, no. That's something that the Palestine movement loves to accuse JDL of. They love to say that and say, oh, you guys killed this Palestinian guy on the West. No. They want to think that two guys who were formerly kicked out again, associated with JDL, might maybe have been involved, but it's an unsolved case. So don't talk shit, okay? The FBI is not the Palestine movement. The FBI has not arrested anyone for that crime. It's an unsolved murder. Again, stop talking shit. Not everyone that gets hurt that's a Palestinian identity person is the fault of the Jews. Okay? People want to blame the JDL for the death of Alex O'Day because they asked Alex, after Alex's death, they contacted Irv Rabin and he says, all my tears were used up for Leon Klinghoffer. So he said he had no tears left for O'Day. So to everybody, you didn't cry when he died. That must mean you killed him. Apparently, every fucking liberal on TikTok killed Charlie Kirk because they all went and loudly pronounced that they didn't care that he had died. So anytime you say that you didn't care somebody died, apparently that's you just you killed them.
This is the kind of inverted logic that people use nowadays.
It's actually crazy. The idea that y'all run away to Israel when shit like this goes down, but still pretend you aren't a FTM. So we're not a foreign organization. We're not a terrorist organization. So that both the F and the T in FTO are not applicable here. Okay? And y'all run away to Israel when this shit goes down. Irv Rabin didn't run away to Israel. Now, of course, he was not my favorite previous JDL leader, and I will make mention that when our Rabbi Schifrin attempted to organize Torah studies with Irv Rubin's group, that Irv was not interested. So he was not as religious as someone in the JDL should be, in a sense. Meaning you don't have to be orthodox. You don't have to be super, super strict, but you should at least be pursuing it. And when somebody says Torah study, you should jump at it. You know, and that's what I mean. And this is funny too. The FBI is not the Palestine movement. You'd be fucking surprised. You'd be fucking surprised when I show you how many people in that movement actually work in the federal government. You'd if you're on our side, you'll be sickened actually. But yeah, I mean, this is a good talk here, folks. Got to dispel a couple rumors and stuff, but it seems that we're kind of getting on in length there. It's looking like, well, it's like an hour and 35 minutes we've been going now. It's kind of long. But, you know, this is, what is this? You're throwing your old JDL leaders under the bus. Lib Zionists. No, we're not going to go work for J Street. Liberals are the people who commit crimes. I don't know why everybody keeps acting like it's liberal to not commit crime. Okay? It's called actually being socially conservative. Actually,
We're glorifying going to jail now. Is that like what Bella's basically trying to say here?
if you don't glorify going to jail, you're a liberal, which is nonsense, because I've been watching the liberals the past 20 years glorify criminals and terrorists. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but people on the right, we believe in law and order. Okay.
Not blowing up 1-year-olds.
Right.
We believe in it strongly.
Yeah. If you feel like not being a criminal is liberal, you might have fucking brain damage. Really. I mean, come on now. You don't want to go to jail? Liberal. Oh, yeah, these feds are wild.
Now
I mean,
Bella wants to start with some blood libels.
What does it say? Liberals, hold on. Oh God, liberals support crimes like genocidal war criminals from Israel.
Bella's
There's no
very confused.
genocidal war criminals from Israel.
Bella is a very, very confused person, if she's even a real person.
Bella is a trap from the 613 chat, I think. This is like, you know how all Nazi groups have a femboy? This is it for their group.
I agree.
This is the femboy from their terror chat. That's what I think it is. It's gotta be, or else like offend themselves. But like I just feel like, hold on, let me see if I have a picture of what this person looks like in my mind.
You guys better watch out. Your group chat's about to get leaked. Prepare the memes.
Oh, I don't have the picture right now. Here's a picture. This is what.
I mean, that was basically Mike when he got kicked out.
Just a fat discontent pussy. All right. There's feds in both y'all's group chats. Yeah, sure. Okay. No, there's not, because we vet every person. We do background checks. We check with their family. We check with their rabbi. If they're a fed, they have to be at least 35 years undercover, because we're going back to fucking junior high school and before with everybody's records.
Are they recruiting that young now?
You know,
rolling up to the middle school. We got a job for you. Long gone.
Yeah, like I imagine, like, well, you know, when I was a kid, I was in this terror group, but you know, we're chilling now.
Pretty cool movie. I actually read a book series like this. They had a spy school. It was like teenagers. See, everything fiction just now people think is real life. When really the simplest solution, the simplest answers are almost always what's going on.
What did I tell the fucking people, man? The fucking first guitar. I told them, guys, you got to start vetting. You can't let anybody in these fucking chats. What's next thing? Their whole chat gets doxxed. Fucking Palestine people at the protest calling them by their real names, shouting out their phone numbers because they didn't fucking had their fucking phone number visible on WhatsApp. And I was like, okay, that's what I meant with vetting, right? And then this, oh, you shouldn't have to pay. It's stupid. Oh, okay, yeah, because with no background checks, everything else is working out so well for everybody else, right? You're getting doxxed. You're getting fucking feds in there. You got crazy people making Molotovs, having to fucking go to jail. We don't have none of that shit happening. We're fucking stopping legislation. We're getting people CCLs. We're fucking training Jews to fucking be ready on the street for real life. Okay? And yeah, sometimes I go and confront the pro-Palestine protesters and all that shit, but that's not the fucking entire purpose of the JDL, is not to just be reactionary to these fucking Palestine assholes. It's to be prepared for when anyone comes for you, whether they're Palestine, whether they're neo-Nazi, whether they're Black Hebrew Israelite, whether they're fucking some other kind of weird Muslims or something, it doesn't matter. Anybody coming for you, even if it's just a regular robber that doesn't even know you're Jewish. That's what we're preparing people for. We're not fucking playing these games that we're going to win the war for Israel by bombing some fucking retard over here in New York. Okay?
People love to
It's
say,
stupid.
I'm not a Jew with trembling knees. But like that doesn't mean you're just shouting into the wind.
Yeah, don't yell Natasha Devine at the protest. Why would I yell my own name at the protest?
What? This person must have been drinking and now, it's funny. It's made
Why
the
would I
brain so
yell my own
addled.
name? I mean, when the Univision, or not Univision, Telemundo came and interviewed me, I kind of had to yell my name because it was like loud out there when they were interviewing me. But that's a really weird comment. Don't yell Natasha Devine at
That comment
protest.
is hurting my brain. It makes no sense.
Oh, wait, I get it. He or she thinks because my name on here is in Hebrew that I'm like hiding my name, that somehow my name is not public. So they think that they're doxing me by saying Natasha Devine in the chat. But it's literally all over the website, and I have music released under that name and books, and everybody knows my fucking name, dumbass.
Did this person just like scroll by, join, and is like trying to catch up? Like, I don't need to know anything.
It took me a minute, bro. I was like, why would I say my own name? They think that people don't know my name. That's why they're saying it. They think they did something there. Wow. Oh, dude.
This is a full clown. Got a whole
Wow.
circus. All the clowns are out.
Why would I name? Why would I hide my own name when I'm putting out books and music and fucking? I'm doing public speeches. I'm in a fucking newspaper. Like, bro, what? How?
We're not the ones planning Molotov cocktails. There's no reason to hide.
Right? Yeah, you can't dox me. Okay, it's like everybody. That was a stupid thing. Fucking when Antifa tried to dox me, they didn't tell anybody any information that they didn't know except for bullshit that they themselves made up. We're pretty sure we'll find out that Natasha is involved with Combat 18. We're looking into this. Stuff like that. Like, you're pretty sure you'll find out that a neo-Nazi group that wants to murder me is somehow, we're homies. You're pretty sure. Pretty sure. Like, the fuck? People are really tripping.
For real.
Yeah, no, I use my real name publicly. I have no problem using my real name. My name is on here in Hebrew, but since you can't read Hebrew, you don't know what it says, and I understand the confusion. But generally, it will say Natasha, aka Nama Divine, or something like that. But yeah, everybody who knows about this organization, one of the first things they would learn would be my name. So, yeah, I don't know what they thought they were doing there. Weird. But yeah, they're trying to do some gotcha stuff, and they think that they can say something that'll make us, like, I guess, mad or something. Because this is what anti-Semites do. They want to anger Jews, and they get frustrated when we don't get angry. They get frustrated, and they just feel like, oh, well, they're not mad. Let me think of the next thing. And they keep trying to make the Jew angry. But, I mean, I got Hashem. What I got to be angry about? I've got a lot of things to laugh at right now. Honestly.
The 613 Brotherhood trolls in the chat are definitely providing a lot of laughter.
Some entertainment. No, but actually, it's they're probably not doing this on purpose, of course, but they're providing me with some of the standard bullshit that people say about JDL, and it's giving me an opportunity to respond to it. So that's actually fine. I actually like when opponents come in. I don't like it to be an echo chamber of just like, yeah, you're right, I hear you, because I'm a debater. I debate people. I don't just say, "Oh, fuck you, Arab trash."
You
I would
certainly
like that.
don't go for personal attacks. You really try to stick to the argument.
Yeah,
You
I mean,
appreciate
if
a
we
good
want to
argument.
get into personal attacks, I'll burn them motherfucking asses. But I'm trying to remain
No,
civil.
come on. I'm supposed to be talking about your debating now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They don't want to get personal. They want to stick at the debate. Like,
Yeah.
if I start getting personal, I'll just be saying like really hurtful things, and they'll like get personally. Like, they might. You never know. You never know. They might hurt themselves or feel just hurt.
Crash out.
Cry, lash out. Self-immolate, as is common with the movement over there.
Maybe full head exploding.
That's a good way to start your self-immolation protest. Just let your liberal head explode. Oh god! You remember that guy, the one that burned himself for Palestine? I can't even barely remember his name now. What a waste of a life. The ginger.
I don't know.
And then a lady burnt herself after him for Palestine. Like she was on a bench or something, set herself on fire. And I hate to laugh at this, but it was like the worst thing of it was that it like nobody cared. Like, oh, some other Palestine asshole burnt themselves up.
I got to admit, I don't even know if I heard about it. No press.
I know, because this one dude, he was from the military, and it was such a big deal that he burned himself up, and he did it like in front of these people. This other lady did it. It was like, damn, you talk about being a loser, man. You killed yourself for a loser cause, and nobody even fucking heard about it. Damn.
Oh man, no one's telling that story.
You know who you don't hear too much about anymore is the two French and one Israeli, though. They were trying to kill Candace Owens. I wonder when she's going to set herself on fire.
I mean, how high can the paycheck go?
That's the other thing.
For money.
613 bros, if you're listening, don't you know these Palestine people set themselves on fire anyway? You just fucking sit and wait, and it's only a matter of time. You don't have to fucking set them on fire. Like, they literally do it themselves. Fucking waste of resources,
Well, when you don't have a job, you can go around wasting time, I guess.
Yeah, also a Molotov, that's Russian. That's not Jewish. Some communist shit. That's why I thought, like, this guy can't be a real Jew. He's coming with some Russian commie fucking. It said too in the article that I read. He was talking in the chat about trying to find a place to quote unquote practice for self-defense and throw Molotov cocktails.
Oh, that is such insanity.
Think about this, though.
That's your first line of defense. There's something wrong with your brain.
Oh yeah, when you're walking down the street with the makes for a Molotov cocktail, and someone approaches you, hold on a minute, let me put this together, and throw and run backwards and then throw it at you. Like, how the fuck is a Molotov cocktail self-defense? Like, seriously.
No, but you know what? It makes sense. Everything is performative from that group. The The quote unquote leader was always performative. There was no substance to any of his actions.
Self-defense with a Molotov. I can't unsee the guy with all the Molotovs in the fanny pack in my mind, you know. Give me all your money. Hang on, let me light this. He's sticking a rag in the top of the.
Maybe somebody can market an on-the-go Molotov kit.
Yeah, like you're
Hold on
at
one
the
second.
fucking,
I just need to assemble this.
and then light it.
Anybody have a lighter? I've lost mine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, let me tell you something, folks. Self-defense should be something that you can do immediately, swiftly, and it shouldn't require too many components. Like, maybe you slam the magazine in the gun, boom, rack it and shoot. It really shouldn't be more than that. You should probably already have the mag in the gun anyway, but for self-defense, Molotov cocktail is not it, y'all. It's not it. Anything that you have to build is not fucking self-defense. All right. Well, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, I think, here. But
very amusing show.
Very some entertaining, zany interactions on here tonight. So thank you. Also, I want to mention that I'm still catching up with putting the Shofar episodes onto Spotify. I know they're way behind folks that are Spotify users. Sorry about that. We will be doing more and more to transfer it over there. It just takes a long ass time to do each one. So that's really the reason why. So, but thank you to Chana to coming on here, talking, and thanks to the monkeys in the chat for making us laugh, because you know what a monkey is. A monkey is something that makes you laugh. Good night, folks.